Look it up. Susan Baranowski is 2 cops. They ended up getting murdered. Most people don't want more time. That's the point that I'm making, right? So if you're in there, you're doing your time, you're trying to get out, why would you want to get into it with an officer? You'd have to be provoked because you know that the consequences for that is going to be detrimental. So like nobody's trying to do that. People who feel it the worst are the people who are not even involved in what's going on. Because when you get into a situation, if it's a big ass brawl on the unit, they brawl, they go to the hole, they're gone. Yet what happens? The cops are going to come and shake down the unit that these guys are no longer there on. Right. The cops are going to come f up the inmates that these guys are no longer there on. The cops are going to come talk shit to you, lock you in, f up your showers, f up your visits, f up your phone. And these dudes are not even there anymore. You got a moment when they see you down, there's no they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. Welcome back if you've been here before. If you're new, hope you enjoy. I got a special guest with me today. Been here before, but for the people who may not have seen the episode, why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm New England zone, man, Day Heat, represent Boston for the most part, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Dorchester, grew up in Dorchester. I spent a lot of time in Massachusetts. I did some time, spent a little bit of time in New York, Florida, but that's where I'm from though, man. Boston, Dorchester, New England, stand up, man, Day Heat, big hummer.
For sure, so why don't you tell the people a little bit about 43 AD and all that you got going on with that?
43 AD, man, that's a crew, me, More BZ, Arthur Supreme, Free Wuno. Wuno is. Probably explained this a few times already at this point. People's probably tired of hearing me. But if you think about the 4th letter in the alphabet, that's a D, and a 3 backwards, what does that look like? A E. And then AD, which just spells dead. So my peoples is zombies. We all amongst the living dead. 43 AD because we're from the home of dead dogs. From Boston, stand up.
How did y'all connect?
For the most part, prison. I met Arthur Supreme while in Shirley Medium, and I met Mort early on before I even went to trial, like just fighting trial. I waited trial for 3 years, and he still had hair on his head.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they'll come up here and I guess everybody's bid's different. Some people will say, oh, it's not that bad, whatever, they have fun. But to me, I feel like it's just, we make the best of a bad situation.
Absolutely.
But that's like a traumatic experience. Do you think like that's part of what bonds you guys so deep? It's kind of going through almost like trauma bonding and then.
I was gonna say too, you definitely got that. A lot of people bond over trauma, which is obviously where that phrase comes from. And us as well, similar, very similar. And on top of that, on top of going through things like that, just like not just traumatic, yet going through that type of situation where you kind of have to, it's your force, not even through trauma, just because that's how it's designed. It's your force to kind of band together because the police and the authoritative figures, staff is already band together against you. So it's like, who else are you gonna band with? And you only, I won't say only, what I would say is you try to band with the people who you are like. A likes, B likes, so you try to band with people who got the same morals and principles that you have. You know what I'm saying? So Mort, being a similar person like myself, never told, never fold, never will, simple shit, you know what I mean? Like just, people say now like standing on business is like, dude's been standing on principles for a long time, and sometimes that's a little bit better than standing on business because most people stand on business talking about they doing stuff for the bread, and people will sell their soul for money, and they'll switch on their friends and their family for money. So while money's great and it definitely make the world go around, you need it. We were standing on principles, and that's who you want to be around, who you want to associate yourself with, who you want, you know what I mean? Like, if people don't have no principles in there, they'll do anything, and that's not a place where you want to just go for anything or do anything. So
for sure, and when we come out here, business is real kind of cutthroat. So is it a tough line to walk to stand on principle and try to conduct business at the same time?
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know, some people might, I don't know what they'll say. Actually, I'm gonna say for me, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're being realistic, there's a lot of things in business that if you have principles you don't really want to do, you know, or don't even want to be a part of. You know, shit. Look at Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, they standing on business, but yet that ain't the type of business I'm trying to be a part of. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
with the whole Diddy scandal and everybody
like
involved.
that ain't it.
Hollywood, right?
Yeah, you feel me?
That's
like
the whole selling your soul thing, right? That's the common thing they say.
Absolutely, and it's like, you know, it's a price for everything, man. So do you really want to do it? That's and so even that, I'll say that's ill, honestly, that this conversation came up because and it keeps coming up for some reason. In any event, not even just the Diddy Hollywood thing, like. I think about it like, well, Hollywood crumbling, we got the best shot. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we the only region of people that was never part of that weird shit.
Talking about New England.
Yeah, New England. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing because we're not attached to that. So it ain't like we got to sync with the ship. We're not even worried about it. We like the people that's on a whole nother crew somewhere. You know what I mean? In this time, we about to hit the island, you know?
Absolutely.
So...
especially with this whole independent media thing too, YouTube and everything like that. Like, numbers ain't the same at the box office. People ain't going to as many movies. A lot of people, they're sick of being lied to and fed all this BS, and it's like we could see through it. Like I feel like, you know, between the media, as far as Hollywood, but in politics as well, like they talk to us like we're stupid, but that's not really the case for the most part.
Right. Well, ignorance is bliss, you know. They want you to continue to act ignorant so that they can continue pulling the wool over your eyes.
For sure. Speaking of like politics and I guess New England and everything, Massachusetts right now, we got a whole situation up Shirley Max right now. If you're not aware, a guard got.
Yeah, I'm hip.
Yeah. Well, for the audience and stuff too.
Yeah,
a guard. What happened? A guard got poked. He was allegedly attacked. By a few inmates, but a lot of times, you know, they'll go on the news and say unprovoked and planned ahead, and it's like
we know way better than that.
That's normally not the case, right?
One, keep in mind that any situation nowadays that happened because police went to court for it. They went to court to get dudes more time because they were tired of losing fights, and then they went to court. After they went to court, and then the court deemed any violent action done against an officer is going to get you more time, right? An added on sentence. They then said that they took Walpole back. And that's only because now you can't get into a fight with him without getting more time. So most people don't want more time. That's the point that I'm making, right? So if you're in there, you're doing your time, you're trying to get out, why would you want to get into it with an officer? You'd have to be provoked. Because you know that the consequences for that is going to be detrimental.
Right.
So, like, nobody's trying to do that.
And these people might think, like, oh, these people are in prison. Like, some people never getting out. But a lot of times it's not even lifers that's doing this stuff. It's people in there on short time. And they're catching more time. Like,
absolutely.
They're not doing that for fun.
They know. And it's funny that you say that because normally they know better. Why would somebody provoke a person doing life in prison? Right? So they do that a lot. The guards are in there, they band together, and they kind of haze, not just one another, yet try to haze everybody. You know what I'm saying? And because of it, people with like lower time are looked at like the more vulnerable people. You know what I mean? And so they start poking at them like, you don't want to really get an extra 2 years. You're only doing 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And you know, long story short, people just get tired of that. So that's if you ask me, that's what I think happened. And there was more than one inmate. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, they don't tell. I mean, I don't know specifics about this or anything, but it's like they won't tell you about, you know, that they're constantly at the visits. Maybe they're disrespecting your family, and then maybe not like something crazy, but little things. I was hitting on people's girls.
That's a fact.
Family. They don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about the 20 times you're like, officer, please don't talk to my family like that. Like, show some respect.
Right. Or even where they tell the officer, like, yo, I'm going to see my boyfriend. And they're like, you really want to be with that loser?
Right. Do you know who? I had a incident. This wasn't in prison. This was just like a car accident, and state police ran my whole shit, and they're trying to. My girl, she knew everything anyway. But they're saying, do you know like who he is? Like, you know what I mean? Trying to pages of. She's like, I know, but they're in positions of power.
Right.
And they're trying to use it for deceitful reasons and manipulation.
Indeed, yeah. I will I challenge you to well, not even you. I don't even look at it as a negative thing. Like if you read my record down and tried to make me look like less of a person for that, then I probably would laugh in your face, right? Because we even look at the Bible. It's filled with people who did crimes and did time. And that's what makes people who they are, like a lot of times, right? That type of journey gives you the type of aura and charisma that you need to be influential, or or just have a energy that draws people. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to know you've been through something. That makes you relatable. You know what I'm saying? Jesus did time in prison.
Right.
Jesus was like the whole story of people in the Bible, a majority of the people in the Bible were soldiers, and that's where even the passage comes from, where God gives his toughest battle to his strongest soldiers. A majority of the people who came before us were soldiers. They had to fight. Unfortunately, the last group of people to come over to America, the African Americans that they brought, were the only people that didn't fight.
Right. And we all know what happened with that couple hundred years of slavery.
At least 400 years of slavery.
Yeah, that's crazy. And they try to diminish that, but that's a long time.
Absolutely.
It hasn't even been 400 years since.
Been probably 100, if that.
Right, floating around there.
And then we still got places where it's still going on. You know, so that's the ridiculous part of that, But either way, and it ties in though, right? Because prison is the modern day slavery.
That's what they say.
So,
and the world is the plantation, or at least maybe the whole country, this country at least.
Definitely.
But it seems to be like they're trying to go towards like a one singular world government. I don't know. There's a lot that seems to be going on as far as Iran and trying to. I don't know. A lot of people saying they're on the verge of all these wars. We already got a couple wars going on.
Right.
That we're not even really involved with. So who's to see where all this stuff goes? But I know shit rolls downhill, you know what I mean? And it's not going to be the politicians and all the people that's going to be affected by stuff that,
absolutely,
war may bring. But like we were touching on too, standing on principle, right? You had said that, and like we have the law of the land, right? And we need that as some sort of guidance. But that's how I look at it. It is kind of like a guideline, because I feel like some principles might supersede what that law might be, right? If someone were to touch like a child in your family, God forbid, or something like that, right? It would still be against the law to get revenge and retribution on that. But I feel like as far as a principle,
is it though? Because again, let's go back to the Bible, and that actually sums up the point I was actually making, which is nobody cannot make me look crazy for doing crimes. All they are is things that these people, and by these people I mean the powers that be, people who are continuously in talks and in positions of power and that make up the judicial system, right? These are the people who are telling you, yeah, we did it for hundreds of years, got paid off of it, made our whole family wealthy off of it, right? Generations of families wealthy off of it. And now we say you guys could go, but don't do that shit we just did.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Now it's a crime. It's just a name. That's just all crime is a name that they gave something with a negative connotation, so you could say, oh, I shouldn't do it. No, you feel me? Like we didn't do anything different than them. Even if it comes to like killing somebody, there's states where that's okay, depending on the situation.
Yeah, stand your ground states. There's a lot of times if
you could stand your ground in Florida, but when you come up here to Massachusetts, no, don't do that.
Right.
Why though? Because those states have more Republicans in it. The stand your ground states have more Republicans in it. And Republicans are usually what?
White.
Right. So anything that they deemed illegal, crime, right, is just something that they did that they don't want you to do. Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm going to bring this up into the day he takes me out too, right? And I joke about that because the only one of us out of the two of me and Kyle Rittenhouse that's getting away with it is him. It's not me, right? And they've proven that to me. And so I just wanted to be known that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 people and shot one of their biceps off. So 3 people were injured. 2 fatally, right? Died. He went to trial, went home, went to the White House. I went to trial after being assaulted, and somebody ended up getting hit and did 14 and a half years of my life in prison, right? So altogether, I did 17 years, which I talk about a lot throughout music and talking to you, being on these podcasts, and everybody knows there's a big discrepancy in that, right?
For sure.
So crime, what is crime?
Right. And if they can't, they'll change the rules on you too. They'll just manipulate language, manipulate the law. They couldn't catch the mob bosses for years because they didn't get their hands dirty. So they started to use RICO. And then now it's a continuing enterprise. Now you don't even need to see that guy doing anything.
Right. Conspiracy charges. You could just, oh, I thought he did it.
Right.
So how much, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
what type of, like, you could lock somebody up just for saying, I thought he did it. And then the funny thing is we see that on a smaller scale in prison. So then it actually gives you, this is why it's easy for people like us to break it down. And everybody in the world is like, oh, they crazy. That's that prison talk. Yeah, because we were able to minimize it, see it for what it's actually worth, and then realize after applying it to the world, like, oh, that's really what they're doing to us?
Yeah. Right.
So I say that to say you got, in there you got the IPS, out here you got the CIA. Right? Yes, there's always somebody watching all of us. And that's just it, man. Like,
that's for sure.
It's not no accident. It's not no coincidence. This is all a design, you know?
Yeah, never mind like laws like joint venture and stuff like that. I mean, look, that don't make sense in a lot of cases.
Laws like joint venture is crazy. That's not even a law. That's a theory.
So explain that. Someone had said that to me, and it makes sense a little bit. But
that's what makes it crazy. Like you didn't even do nothing. You just like, my theory. That's what they do. They're gonna go into the courtroom and then give a theory, and because of that theory, the jury's gonna then be able to decide off of if that theory made sense and fits the crime. Yet there was no actual crime. Right? Look at Orange Man.
Yep. Right.
Like you could be a whole 2 blocks away, and they still be like, yeah, nah, just go in there and sit on down, man, until we say you could go. We might not ever say you could go.
Right.
That don't make no sense.
And then like the whole policing themselves kind of thing. I feel like there should be some sort of like, what do they call them? Like independent arbitrator or something like that. Have the civilians police or something like that. Because it just breeds corruption. You can't have the police the police like.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Yet again, it's not no accident.
It's not designed to make sense. It's designed to make dollars and cents.
That's it. Yeah, dollars and cents. It ain't designed to make sense for us. Exactly.
Like they tax us on the dollar. How many times do they whack us? We get paid, they whack us. We spend it, they whack us, right? But then that's extortion. Like if anyone else is doing that to us, that's extortion.
You even look at the time where you get your taxes back, right? It's at a time where you don't even you ain't gonna have no money because you already owe it all.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right after every major holiday, and then when they roll around with like the most bills you could probably name. So none of this is an accident.
No, not at all.
We already talked about how they get more money per inmate if you're taking medication. And they're trying to force feed you with medication. This is not no accident.
And this is something, I'm glad you touched on this, because this is something that they don't really publicize much too when these people, they do these like shooting at Trump or the school shootings, they never really say what meds these people are on, right? And I feel like that's by design. Like, they're not trying to shame the pharmaceutical industry, it seems like. Because there's no, you could just, like, not to prejudge, but you could prejudge. Your eyes could tell you a lot, you know what I mean? Your body language, everything. You could tell a lot of these people who do this, they, like, look the part almost. Like, that's what a school shooter would look like.
Yeah, a manic depressive person.
So I just feel like we need more transparent. That's the whole thing about the mainstream media. Like, they're not transparent. They give what they want to give. They're just pretty much.
That's it. That's what
they're
it's
just
for.
the puppets for the government, essentially.
Yeah.
That's why I like the YouTube and the independent media, and that's why it's starting to come up a lot more too, because people are seeing through the BS. There's only so much that they can do stuff like that, man. So,
and that's the amazing part about things like this, right? This platform is amazing for reasons just like that, what you just spoke of, brother.
Sure, man. And so, big want people to, anybody who got people, up the max and anything right now,
absolutely.
Man, just
check on your people. That's
check
a fact.
on them, hold your heads. I got I think the phones is back on. I got a phone call a couple of days ago.
Okay.
So I think but they do things on their time.
Absolutely.
So why don't you just kind of, I never been to the max, so why don't you just kind of, for the people watching, kind of break down the max and how it was setting up and maybe like your experience there.
It was originally set up like pretty much where everybody was supposed to be around each other because it was for the gangs. They had gang blocks in Walpole, then they kind of took all of the gang members and moved them to the max. By the time I got there, it wasn't color coded like Nash. Yeah, it was pretty much like sectioned off. You know what I mean? Like, cause now by this time you have Bloods, Crips, GDs, stuff like that. So those were sectioned off. Then you also got Massachusetts organizations or gangs or whatever the hell they're calling them in there. I'm not giving them any names.
STG.
Whatever STG label you put. And because people are in these STG labels, which is, again, a design, you're forcing people to pretty much band together in that regard, right? And then dividing them from another group on purpose so that you can conquer everything. Because even, let's just say, all of these people were against each other, right? You open it all up, and what's gonna happen? They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and then eventually they're gonna figure it out.
Right.
They're not gonna do that. That doesn't help them, right? Because then if everybody figures it out and they get together, what's gonna happen is you're gonna overthrow the people who are doing all of this goofy shit to you in the first place.
Right. And I feel like the whole restricting of communication, because how do you really, if we have problems, how do we solve it if we don't want to solve it in a violent way, right?
Exactly.
Communicate. But like you said, everything is sectioned off. Well, you can't even do that. So now years are passing. People are probably in their heads building more resentment, all that stuff.
That's exactly what's going on.
Wow. And then when it finally does.
When they finally see each other, they done already been exactly like you said, in their head, thinking, oh, you know what? I got to do it to him for he do it to me. And then it turns into something that it probably would have never been had they been able to just conversate.
Yeah.
Or converse, right? So that's how the max is. It's sectioned off, and it's sectioned off on purpose so that they're easily able to conquer everybody there. So, and if you can't, right, there's the other thing. Throw meds on them. And if that doesn't work, right, lock them in, and then don't let them out until we say, open the door.
What's it like as far as movement? Is there a gym? Is there a yard? Is there a big yard? Is it a rec deck?
Last time I checked, 2 yards. So it's a south yard, a north yard, or a gray side yard and a green side yard, whatever you want to say. That's like because of how the jail sectioned off by sides, colored is gray side and the green side. The green side goes out same times, right, to the yard, yet different parts of the jail. You know what I'm saying? And so the green side's also sectioned off, though. It's not just the green side goes out with all the green side. At one point, it was like that, and then they, again, in order to help divide and conquer, they started sectioning everything off again. So the gray side has its own subsections, the green side has its own subsections, and then they allow all of these sections to pretty much individually move at certain times. So you get a certain time to go to the yard, go to the gym, and it's normally 1 to 2 times a week.
Okay.
And yeah, so on and so forth for all the rest of the units. And that's how movement is normally run. They actually started splitting it up, and even on the unit, into half and half. So you can't, if you're on one side of the unit, you go out at one time, and then maybe they go out the next day or at another time. That's how bad it's got with the intersections of prison.
Right. You've been to mediums as well, right? Is there like a difference between how the C.O.s carry themselves up there as opposed to maybe other spots?
I think
is it a little more like
the presence of violence is very needed, so it's more respectful in a spot where you know it's probably gonna go down at. And so because the max was, pretty much allotted for inmates, or I don't want to call them inmates, convicts, that some of them are inmates, yet that's a whole nother story. It's allotted for the more violent, more people that get in trouble. They're more prone to get into something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and while being up there, you see a lot of violence. So it's like, the presence of violence is necessary, because a lot of times what it does is it builds up a respect level, at the very least, or a fear level. And sometimes those is interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
Because if you got enough fear, it's just as good as respect, because like a lot of times we just want people to just leave us the fuck alone, because it's about peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most men is looking for. The pursuit of happiness is peace. Hopefully you could find it with a mate and maybe have some kids. You feel what I'm saying? Yet a lot of us end up finding it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we want to be, is left the fuck alone.
Yeah, and I'm hearing from people up there too now, like it's hard to get out of there, right? They want to keep those beds full. Maybe people ain't spazzing out down to mediums as much, I don't know, incarceration maybe generally down in Massachusetts or whatever, but the way he was saying is like they want those beds to be full up there so they'll get you for little stuff.
Right.
Now you see the class board, the points and all that. Was that something that was kind of going on?
So yeah,
while you were up there?
The point system is a complete joke. They base it off of little
criteria.
Yeah, they have a criteria for it, and it's like little divided off into like little sections, like your crime, your age, your jail record, your actual record. And all of those things get factored in, right? Or factors, that's what the word I was looking for. So all of those things get factored in, and then you get a certain amount of points for every one. And then if you pass a certain amount of points, then that makes you eligible for maximum security. So it's like 12 points or more, you end up in maximum security, and you start off sometimes with like 7. So like with all of them sections, you're gonna get to 12. You know what I mean? So now you gotta kind of like find ways to take your points off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a joke though. It's like it's used as a fear tactic so that they could be like, oh, you don't want to go to the max, so you don't want to get points. Yet it's like, man, who gives a fuck? Right. It's all prison anyway, and you're going to end up in the max if you acting crazy. So fuck it. You might as well hurry up and get the party started.
Yeah, 24 hours is 24 hours no matter where I'm at.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I don't want to say it like the max is no fucking walk in the park, because it's not. I mean, them brothers is probably going through it right now, especially after that situation. Like, so you don't want to be in the max. Don't get it fucked up. You make it to a medium, count your blessings, brother, because they up there doing dudes filthy. And I done seen it done. So count your blessings. Yeah, at the end of the day, don't allow them that type of power to use over you. Like, if you're gonna be scared to go to another prison is prison. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So even me, they tried to like, I actually went in there, walked into the room. They was laughing at the last dude that just left when they was talking about his points. He was telling them, I can't go up there because X, Y, and Z, and I got 12 points. I should be able to go. And they was like, yeah, get up out of here. Laughed at him. was acting like because he was saying that he was scary. And you know, it's prison, so the element of violence or the presence of violence is there. And because of that, they try to act like if you don't want to get involved in the violence, that you're lesser than. And to be completely honest, even the people, again, who are doing the violence don't really want to be involved in the violence, right? It just is what it is. Like, it's certain things that you're not going for. Like, you got to have principles. So and you try to align yourself with people who have the same type of morals and principles as you, so you can do less violent acts. Yet it happens. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, they laughing at him. And I'm like, so I'm watching this, and I go in there. They say, hey, Mr. Bill, like, if they cool. Like, I didn't just watch them laugh at this dude for basically saying to them, I'd rather go to a lesser security prison, because I don't think I should be in the maximum security prison where they already got things going on that, you know, are violent enough that I don't need to be there. So
and there's other reasons too than just being scared, like programs and parole made. You know what I mean? It's not just about like, biggest, oh, I'm shook. Like,
I'm glad you said that, because the biggest reason not to go to the maximum security prison with all of that violence is because you don't get out your cell enough to go to those programs. So a lot of people don't want to get involved in the max because it's like the Twilight. I call it the Twilight Zone. Once you get to Shirley, Massachusetts, it's like you're never gonna leave, because even if you come from the max, they're gonna try to send you to Shirley Medium because that's a turnover camp. So you could go right back to Shirley Max, right? You'll be lucky if you ever make it to Shirley Minimum, because you're still coming back to Shirley Medium only to make it right back to the max. That's why I call it the Twilight Zone. It's like you can't leave. So if you go up there with all of that goofy shit going on, and it might not even be you, right? And you end up in that, and now you can't even get no good time and break your sentence down because you in the max with all of this goofy shit going on.
And that's the thing too, is a lot of times with whatever does happen and whoever was involved, they could send them out to send them out of state, send them to a different prison, but then it's like the people who weren't even really involved, not even maybe on that unit, fair to say that they're feeling the brunt of that too, correct?
Honestly, the people who feel it the worst are the people who are not even involved in what's going on. Because when you get into a situation, if it's a big ass brawl in the unit, they brawl, they go to the hole, they're gone. Yet what happens? The cops are gonna come and shake down the unit that these guys are no longer there on. The cops are gonna come fuck up the inmates that these guys are no longer there on. The cops are gonna come talk shit to you, lock you in, fuck up your showers, fuck up your visits, fuck up your phone. And these dudes are not even there anymore.
Wild, right? Like, imagine if the police operated like that, like, you know, which they kind of do.
Which they do.
Yeah, they do. That's the whole joint venture thing too. Even just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Man,
murder happens and you come lock up some dude because everybody else got away. You had knowledge of it. These dudes are not even there anymore.
Right. Even if you just an innocent bystander just happen to be walking by and they press you, and I mean, we just seen it so many times. Wrongful convictions. Like, that's a thing. And I feel like that's underspoken about a lot. That's a problem. People should not be sitting in jail for any amount of time. But when people are talking about 30 years, 35 years for something they didn't do, like, how?
That's ridiculous. How? This judicial system, brother. And then look at you. This judicial system is garbage. It's garbage. It doesn't have nothing to do with if you did it or didn't do it. It's a matter of what they could prove. And even then, that doesn't even matter if you have enough money, because sometimes money will get you out of anything, right?
Yep, for sure.
It's garbage.
It's like they play these games with language, right? To try to put these pretty names, euphemisms, right? The judicial system. It's not about justice. This is a conviction system. You know what I mean? They can have, even in the military, they'll have some crazy, mission and stuff like that, and they'll be like, Operation Butterfly, right? They try to put these nice words to make it seem like
it ain't what it is. Yeah,
right.
That's the wool over
your eyes. That's the spell, right? The spelling, the trick of words meant to deceive.
Don't fall for it.
It should be incentivized to actually, even if you exonerate somebody, man, if the evidence is telling you that this guy didn't do it, the DA should have some sort of incentive other than, okay, it's just a case that they lose because now they're going to lie and they're going to just try to get that conviction because that's all it's really about. Like, I don't know how you would implement it, but I don't know, man. There's got to be a way to incentivize actual justice.
Well,
the only thing that's incentivized is convictions.
The crazy part about it is they don't want to incentivize you to do anything that goes against the system. That's why it is a system. It was set up for people, the people who made it up, to win. If you made a game called the I Win game, because that's what they playing, right? Who wins? You. You're the only one who's going to win. You made the game up so you could win. That's what they did. And so everything they do is so that they can win. If you go through the judicial system, it has nothing to do, exactly like you said with justice. It's about getting a conviction, hopefully, for them, because they put the money into these privatized prisons. And if they didn't put money into the privatized prisons and got a stock or stake in it, right, they work at the state and government prisons. Right? So why the hell would they want you to not be in prison when they getting paid for you to be in prison?
And there's quotas that they got to reach. Like, that shouldn't be quota driven. It should be about just the truth, honest justice, as you call it. But if they don't fill those beds they get in the next year, they may get less money from the government.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
And then, like you said, the medication, the pharmaceutical side of it, which is that's a whole nother industry too. And then it's almost like it's so tough out there between the meds they're trying to push you, the food, which is just almost poison. The food that we eat in this country, you go to Europe and a lot of the ingredients that we eat on a daily are banned. Because it's not good for us.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately.
It's just the whole trickle down effect, and never mind that, like, access to healthy food in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess certain places they may have, gardens and stuff like that, but that's not.
But that's even that. Honestly,
how
even
hard
the
is
garden,
it to eat healthy?
Yeah, impossible. Even the gardens, you gotta. They're not able. They do a wonderful job. The people who have gardens in there, what they got, that they're not able to really be there 24/7 to do everything they need to do. They don't have the right pesticides or anything, right? That some of those vegetables look good, yet are filled with pesticides, right? Or filled with some type of chemical that could probably be detrimental to your life and health, right? And people don't even know that because they don't really, they know gardening for face value. And the ones who don't, they know, like, dang, we're doing good. Yeah, only as good as we can because of the resources or the freedoms that we get. They, like, you still got to go back in your cell at night and lock the door.
Yeah.
So it's only so, long story short, with that, is only so healthy you're gonna be because they're giving you the worst of the worst. Yeah, that's unfortunately what my people have been so used to making good with. You know what I mean? Taking the worst and making it seem like it's something better than what it is, right?
I mean, how does this change? How do we change this? Ideally, or do we just gotta do the best we can with the system the way that it is? Is it a pipe dream to think that it would even change? Just kind of.
The system ain't gonna change. It's designed to do exactly what it's doing. You'd have to overthrow the government. You'd have to overthrow the system. That's the only way.
Right.
Like you ain't gonna be able to. You're not gonna be able to get everybody who's benefiting off the fucked up shit that they doing to just switch it. That doesn't even make sense.
No. Yeah. And a lot of people, I think, are brainwashed too. They really believe the stuff. Like, we could sit here and talk about it and see it through the lens, especially going through the system.
They have to be brainwashed because the whole system is filled with nepotism. Right? You look at the C.O.s, they all have the same last name. It's families of people that have that job. It's not no coincidence.
Right.
So it's not going to happen. You have to overthrow. People have to get smart enough to come together because the whole way that they conquering us is by dividing us. And they're going to keep dividing us. As long as we stuck on stupid, chicks is worried about pretending to be sexy red, and the ugliest chick thinks she's a bad bitch because she could put eyelashes on, and it ain't about looks yet. The fact that somebody, like, when you ugly, on the inside and the outside, like, come on, it's time to do some work now, love. Like, let's do something about that. And I say ugly on the outside because if you don't like how you look to the point where you have to use filters and makeup every day, that's says a lot about, you know, your insecurities with yourself. And so that sounds like some mental work that needs to be done. And all of that to say, the shit that's going on is to confuse you. It's to keep you stuck on stupid. It's to keep you thinking like that shit is important. You looking good every day is not important, and it isn't even realistic. We all have bad days. Yeah. We all have bad days, and we're all gonna look bad at some point. If you wait in any story long enough, the hero will become the villain. Yet even longer, and then it switches back, right? Because that's how time is. It's retro. Things kick back in effect, and then they die, and then they come back and they die. And that's why people believe that part of evolution is reincarnation, right? Yet I won't get into that. I will say that in order for the system to change, the government will have to be overthrown, and they have to do away with the system that they have in order to make a new one that actually benefits everybody.
Yeah. If you could say something to the guys up there in the max, man, like some bit of advice, man, what are some things you would say to them?
Stop fighting each other and pay attention to who your real enemy is, because the people who are benefiting off of you sitting in there are not sitting next to you.
And the max too is AKA what? Sousa Baranowski, right? Mm-hmm. And that is named after
C.O.s that got murdered.
So it seems like even just naming it that, it just has that bad aura, that evil vibe. You know what I mean? You're naming it after a violent act too. That kind of seems like it's just gonna perpetuate the place and make violence just keep going.
You know, it's funny. All my time of being there, I never even thought of it like that. And I knowing even like a little bit of the story about the dudes that were, I think they were beheaded.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and like Bridgewater State, it was like a state hospital thing with some like, there's a movie about it, I can't remember the name. Yeah, look it up. Sousa Baranowski is 2 cops. They ended up getting murdered.
It just seems like right off the rip, that bad energy, right?
That does.
Think about it.
I honestly never even thought about it like that.
Eventually, did you wrap up from the max, or did you end up?
No, you can't. So I was in the max. And then I went to the medium, back to the medium, for like a few weeks before they released me. Yep. So I actually wrapped up from the whole.
In the medium.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is that? That's fairly new, right? Can't wrap up from the max.
Yeah, that was like probably like a year before I got out.
What's like the theory behind that of why they do that?
Yeah, it's supposed to. I believe that was around 2020 when around the same time when they passed the first part of the juvenile bill. It was because re-entering society from that level of prison is basically like asinine. You know what I mean?
It's set up for failure amongst anything. It's tough on the mental health.
And it's not even just like, this is what I've been trying to push to people, and they know it, yet they're not going to publicize it or nationalize it in the way they would stupidity, right? It doesn't benefit the community for us to come home with that type of mentality.
Right.
Forget ourselves in the prison. Like, why would you want somebody to come back to the community with that type of mentality? Would you let a lion out of the cage in a zoo?
Right.
Fucks no.
Yeah, some people, unfortunately, it has like the mental impact, and you could tell that like it changes some people. I mean, if not everybody, but some people where it's like it's noticeable, like bro's cooked almost.
It'll change everybody, bro. It changes everybody. It's impossible for you not to change. For you to go through something like that and then not change is impossible.
Nope.
It's way too traumatic of an experience. Even if something doesn't happen directly to you, you are going to be affected by something that happens in there. Right. That is a fact. If you go there for one day and witness a freeze up, you're gonna be affected in some type of way.
Yeah.
right? Even if it's just your peoples can't come up to visit you, you know, it's something. And nobody's there for one day, so that's very rare, right? And no, it's impossible, man.
It's such an inhumane place where
Yeah.
you guys think some people would literally rather die than go back. You know, I had a friend of mine who pretty much suicide by cop. Did a state bid, 2 state bids, I think. You know, tough dude. It wasn't about, you know what I mean, the threat of violence or anything like that. It was more like the mental thing. He would tell me, B, I'm not going back.
Absolutely.
You got to look at, like, what's going on in there that people feel that way.
The prison of your mind is way worse than the prison that they could put you in, because we're going to go in there, right? And we're going to laugh and we're going to have a time, because as a people, that's just the type of energy that we have. And it's not, I don't even mean just black people at that point, right? Because if you are poor and white, you might as well be black, right? And even poor people in general just know how to make the best of what they have, because they're used to not having shit.
Yeah.
So you go into these spaces with that mentality, and the people who are really being punished are the police. Yet the sad part about that is when they come in looking like they've been punished and you're the one in prison, they try to still take out their animosity and frustrations on you. So now you're getting double punishment, because the punishment is already that you can't be with your loved ones.
Right.
That's what prison is. You are in prison. You are sectioned off from the world, from your family, you can't go to a refrigerator when you want to, if you can go to one at all. You can't even use the bathroom at some points if you want to. That's the punishment. You don't need to come in and add insult to injury and disrespect people and all of this extra goofy shit. That's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, right? And yet that's what's going on in there.
And that's like the culture, because I feel like maybe not everybody gets the job for that reason, but it's just that's how they get see other people acting, and that's what they do. And they take out their frustrations. And I saw, like, on the news, they were talking about top priority is the safety and the health of the officers. But I'm like, isn't that backwards? Isn't your real job really the safety of the
care, custody, and control? That's what the officers are there to serve and protect. That's what officers' oath is.
So I heard that. I'm like, well, that's kind of backwards.
Yeah, that don't make sense. But, you know, at the end of the day, I was never in there ever thinking that an officer was there to serve or protect me. So I was there to serve or protect my damn self. Fact. You feel what I'm saying?
It's just the fact that they said the quiet thing out loud almost without even really knowing it. You know what I mean?
And it's funny, even you touched on it, like some of them don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Because there's like, just like anywhere, there's some good people that's officers that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, damn, like you just on this end, I'm on this end, you know what I mean? And it's some bad people that's, you know, would be probably on the, if it was sectioned off in the side, that's on my side. So it's like, it is what it is when it comes to that. That's like, you can't really change people in that regard, you know what I'm saying? Yet the part of it where it's like people going out of their way to do extra shit, when all you got to do is your 8 hours and go home, you're going to get the same paycheck. Yeah. Like, come on.
It's too much. Why? Do your 8 and skate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like even the people that come in good eventually stay there long enough, they're going to get corrupted too, you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. And that's from, like you said, like the brainwashing and just being there too long. Like you in the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, man.
For sure, man. So, you know, best wishes to everybody dealing with all that situation. Hopefully y'all could get, you know.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this could shine some light. You know, I heard people making phone calls, man. We got to, you know, people want to get their side out there. So hopefully we could get some, you know, people to call in, and I'll even have people call in from up there.
I was calling up. Even my job, I work for a nonprofit, ICW, inner city weightlifting, and I be having them call up, making sure that them dudes is up there. Like, especially my people, like, it was just Izzy's birthday. Wuno Izzy's birthday like a couple days ago. So I would just definitely make sure I called him that day too. Like, man, that ain't no place to be, man.
For sure, man. So I want to touch on all that while, all that's going on too while you were up there. I know you've been up there. We got people up there and all of that. So, but moving on from that, it's been a minute like since you've been here, man, and you've been pretty busy as far as the music I see, man. So why don't you just talk about what you've been up to with that in the last, I don't know, 8 months or so, however long it's been.
Shit. Man, I've just been trying to do my thing, man. Just, grinding, just staying focused, trying to just keep pushing the narrative, push my name out there. So at the end of the day, more than being an artist, I'm just trying to unionize entertainers and artists and make sure that, we getting our just dues. A lot of us is getting played out here, man, and people don't know the game. And you got YouTube, man, so if you really want to know, just look it up. It's out there, man. It's out there for you. So get the knowledge, man, and after doing the knowledge, then execute a plan. Even me, we all students every day, man. So I'm still learning. I don't got all the answers. Yet with the answers I do have, anybody ask me, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? And I try to give it.
Yeah.
No bullshit. I try to give it out because I want somebody to succeed from here. Whether it's me or the next person, I just want to see it. I need to see it before they take me up out of here, man. I need to see it.
Yeah, so you out here living life. What's like a couple of the highlights of like your life since you've been able to be free, to be out here, man? What are some things that you're proud of and stuff like that?
So I'm proud that my peoples is still alive. You know what I'm saying? By my peoples, I mean my mom and dad, man. By the grace of God, man, I got those two old people to keep bothering me. I'm proud about a lot of things, man. I'm working. I'm on my business. I stay out the way, man. I do my music. And that's pretty much it, man. I try to teach people. And I'm there for my family when they, when they ask me if I can, you know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of little shit, bro. Like, I'm proud I ain't been back to prison. I'm proud I ain't dead. You know what I mean? Like, I got a beautiful daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not proud about how the situation played out with her mom yet. If we talking about the things I'm proud of, I'm proud that my daughter is healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it. Like, she gonna be good. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really grow up like lovey-dovey type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I be there. Like, if she there, I'm there. Like, I'm there, but I ain't really big on, like, I don't know. I grew up kind of, like, not really, like,
affectionate.
Yeah, that was the word I was going to say, but I don't know if it was form-fitting, but, like, yeah, without too much affection. Like, my peoples, they love you in a different way. Like, my people, they really like to, when they would come up, they'll like to buy shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it meant. Like, that's just how they show love. Cause my people, they grew up at a different time. You know, my parents is way older than me, so they like, my parents grew up in the like crazy crack era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's really how you show love back then, bro. You get money, especially when you poor and you give somebody your money, that mean a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Work hard for people that work hard for their money
and
too,
they work hard. They work real hard, and so I didn't really grow up like that. But when it come to like everything else, like, I'm gonna make sure she good financially. I'm gonna make sure she know everything that I know. I'm gonna make sure she know how to pick her friends in situations wisely. Everything I know, I'm gonna give to her. You feel what I'm saying? And that's like, that's
and what are you looking forward to the most as far as that whole like fatherhood in general, I guess?
Man, I'm looking forward to seeing somebody, I don't want to say belongs to me. I want to see somebody add to the legacy that I'm trying to build for my generation, for my family, for my bloodline. I'm looking to watch the evolution of assistance for the legacy I'm building, because it's about her. It's about me, yeah, but I'm gonna be gone before her.
Yeah.
God forbid, like, God willing, excuse me. God forbid something bad happen to anybody, period.
Sure.
Like, not even me, just period. But
for sure,
like, God willing, man, I'm gonna be gone before her, and I just want to make sure that she good. That's it. You know what I mean? And,
I mean, that's important for sure.
yeah.
So let's talk about moving forward with the music. You got a few things coming up. Tour just started.
Yeah,
Why don't you
yeah.
talk a little bit about that? Talk of the town. Shout out to
yeah, shout out Talk of the
man.
Town, man. You know what's up, man. We outside. Jizzy Honcho. You know what I'm saying? We on tour right now. We doing They Should Have Never Counted Us Out tour. Yeah, I don't think they should have did that. And so that just actually kicked off on Sunday. So we gonna be in Virginia, ATL. We outside, man. You know, and we're gonna be at a venue near you. All you gotta do is pop out. You know what I'm saying? You see this, you see me, you see this face. You know what I'm saying? Come outside. We outside, we're gonna have a good time, man. Good energy, good vibes, man. Bring your mom outside, man, because it's gonna be a nice time. And that's
For
it.
sure.
You know
Family vibes, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. You've been outside with us, man.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know
It's a good time for sure, and it's never no, never no drama or anything like that. Bro,
we ain't
so.
with none of that dumb shit, man. We done did enough time, man, for everybody. So let's just have fun, bro.
For sure.
That's it.
What about as far as, are you working on like a new album? Are you promoting an album? Any music videos coming up?
Yeah, so actually, Free Wuno out there, you know, it's about the mixtape or strip tape is about to drop. It's probably might have already dropped. I might have leaked it myself. I don't know. I think I know. You know what I'm saying? And the album, which is a prelude to the album, Free Wuno out there, you know, the album, which is gonna be an EP, early project, and I'm dropping that for Halloween this year. So next month, Halloween, check that out. It's coming.
Why is it important for you to rep your man like that while he's locked up?
Shit, man. Somebody got to do it, man. He got people that love him, man, and I just want him to know that that's a fact. You know, I'm one of them. You know, when I had nobody to talk to, he was one of the people that I could always talk to. I'm talking about from in the cell to outside to when we was out here. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You ain't, when you in there too, it's like you feel dead, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I even call my people zombies, you know? It's like the we all amongst the living dead, man. And in there, you really like feel like the living dead. So it's like the people who come to see you in there, and I probably done said this 1,000 times, it's like you could imagine the people who's gonna visit your grave by the people that come to see you while you locked up, because it's like
Buried alive.
You feel me? And so I just want them to know. And I'm honestly, bringing that up, I'm honestly horrible at going to graves because it just draws up a lot of emotions and feelings. And I already deal with a lot of mental health. Like I'm really bad because I deal with a lot of death, and I'm really bad with that. Yeah, one thing I am good at doing is making sure that people's name and legacy gets upheld and lives on. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. That's one thing you could count on me for. I'm definitely going to speak the truth. That's it.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I see, so where else can people find you as far as I see you about to be on a couple other podcasts and stuff too, man? You just Coffee, Blunts, and Donuts, right? Shout out to them
Shout
guys,
out Coffee,
man.
Blunts, and Donuts, man. Y'all know what's up, man. Y'all got me a little bit too much blunts in that coffee. Aside, I'm on to y'all.
Yeah.
Quit.
That's what's up. So how many podcasts have you been on, and why is it like important to to actually speak to the people instead of just like putting out music?
So honestly, when I'm on there, when I'm on like on these podcasts and on here, I'm on podcasts chopping up with like, so we done built the rapport so I could talk to you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not anxious about this conversation. So I get a little bit of social anxiety. I got anxiety as it is, right? And I tell everybody anyway, like I deal with a lot of mental health. My people told me to stop calling the issues. I deal with a lot of situations regarding mental health, and anxiety being one of them. So when I get around certain things, or not certain people, but just like people that I don't feel comfortable around, it makes me anxious, and rightfully so, because I spent a lot of time where I spent, a lot of time at, and that's not really a place where people are just like friendly, happy-go-lucky. So people like some people be out here even with the fake screw face, yet they really don't be on nothing. Yet I don't know that because you got that fake screw face on, and I done almost lost my eye in prison. Like, it's a real place, so that's what I'm used. I spent more of my life in prison than I did anywhere, so that's what I'm used to. So I'm always on high alert. I'm always just paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like. And I come to places like this and I could just kind of like chill. I don't really got to be on high alert. I don't got to feel anxious. And I already built a rapport with pretty much everybody that I've done podcasts with. So I'm able to easily converse or like easily talk and express, you know what I mean, how I feel and what it is without anxiety kicking my ass, man. You know what I'm saying?
You. And I think that's important. The whole going back again to the whole communication thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just talking about stuff and
even when I'm performing, I get anxiety in a way that I don't really want to talk. I would just want to perform. Like, I came here to give y'all the music. I might talk a little bit about the track before I say it or after I say it. Yet it's normally like, let me just perform it and then see how y'all feel about it. Cause that way, like, if you don't like it, now I know I gotta go fix some shit. You feel what I'm saying? And if you do like it, well, you didn't need me to talk you to death.
Right, let the art speak.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's Van Gogh or Picasso. Let the art speak for itself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Absolutely.
I think having these conversations are good too, because it always keeps things in perspective too. And you know, it kind of makes you think about, like, even when we do go through stuff out here, sometimes it's like not silly because it's still important because it's just important to you. But like, if you were to like look back being locked up and you're like, man, I wish I had a chance to get fired, right? If that was my biggest problem right now, I'm sitting in a jail cell. I would love to be on the streets getting fired. Like, it puts things in perspective. Like, you know what?
I said I would have loved to have been a bum.
Right.
I would have loved to have been a bum in L.A. That's what I wanted. The whole time I was in prison, I'm like, instead of this, I'll take being a bum or going to war. I'm like, yo, you know what?
Right.
Let's just sign a petition where everybody who's in prison, give them the option to go to war or stay in prison. I'll go to war, like, take my chances. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just take my chances with that because we already in war anyway.
For sure.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I might as well just do that and then see what happened. Yet it's definitely better than that crap in there. You know what I'm saying? So
it's good to have that perspective because it's like sometimes we might focus on too much on, like, and it's good we have goals and things we're trying to do, but to obsess over what we don't have, you kind of lose appreciation for what you do have, and it takes practice. But I think that's why, for me too, having these conversations with people who've been locked up and all that stuff, it's good to have that perspective, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so I know you said you were bouncing around a few different cities. What's the next one coming up on the tour?
I'm also gonna be at Lucky's too on November 8th, man. So y'all check that out.
Okay, Lucky's. Where's that at?
Lucky's is in CT, so it's Lucky's Cabaret in Vernon, Connecticut, and that's November 8th. And I'm actually starting the prelude or pre-tour for my tour. It's gonna be called the College Tuition Tour.
Okay.
Yep. So we're gonna be at the schools, colleges, and we're gonna be at the strip club because, you know, that's where most of these females is getting that tuition money from.
Got you.
College Tuition Tour. So the next show actually we'll be in Atlanta on the 5th.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you go about getting all booked in all these cities way the hell? Is it just part of having a team and you have something?
So yeah, the team definitely has a big part to do with it, and then you gotta find. Well, I won't get into that part of it. What I will say is it's definitely team related, and you gotta find venues that you got an audience at. So, you know, we got a little bit of a following in ATL. I was supposed to perform this weekend. I just passed in ATL Friday, Saturday, and they had a hurricane. So make sure your peoples is good out there in ATL. They had a flash flood and hurricane warnings at first, and I was gonna still make it. I was supposed to drive there. Divine intervention though, like all the rental car companies started acting weird. And I'm like, yo, then I try to grab Toro. I'm like, Toro ain't gonna act weird. That's normally like some hood dude with a nice car, right? They started acting weird. Then I looked, I'm like, they got a mile limit for Toro. I never realized that.
Okay,
Yeah,
go so far.
Yeah, exactly. So you ain't just gonna take my car and go to Florida. And that's exactly what I was about to do. ATL, close enough. So I couldn't do that. So we booked the tickets. Now 10 minutes after we booked the tickets, we getting our stuff ready about the skedaddle. They called, they like, yeah, all the flights is canceled.
Wow.
So, and then just so happened, the spot I was gonna go to, the reason why I was still trying to rush there, because the spot I was gonna go to, they were saying like it was clear, nothing was going on there. Yet all the other surrounding spots got flooded.
Wow.
So I would have, especially on the drive there, I would have been crazy. I was gonna stop at my sister's in North Carolina, and even they got hit. I'm talking about my sister ended up telling me she had a pool in her living room, and not the nice kind.
Damn. So it's like everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And then things that don't happen too, sometimes it doesn't happen for a reason.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to Atlanta.
So is that just like a postponement of that same one you were supposed to do? Or
No,
did you have to do
the whole different show. That one's, so that was.
So you had them both already lined up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one's done. They ended up doing that show, and shout out to them. They had Alma there, and I believe Derez Deshawn's supposed to be a part of it in some capacity. Yeah, either way, shout out to them, and yeah, man, check on your peoples in ATL, man.
For sure. Check on your people. Just check on your peoples, man.
On your people.
Life's short, man. Life's not problem. I was gonna say in the max.
Yeah, check on your people, period, bro.
Check on your peoples, man.
And I try to do that. No boy. Anybody who know me, they know like I randomly text people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's to the point where like I was weirded out by like, cause people will make you feel weird. Like I text people like if I just meet them, or especially like people following me on Instagram. Like especially if I know them personally, like I met you personally, like I'll text you, see what's up. You know what I mean? Like you never know, cause I done lost way too many people. I lost a lot of people. I done lost over 50 friends. And that's no joke. Anybody who know me, they know my life. I don't have fake people on my social media. Like these is real people. I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I done lost, like over the years, I done lost like 50 friends, like people that I actually done been in my crib, ate my mom's food, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And all that to say, like, bro, like I'm always like, that's always in my mind. Like, yo, let me make sure this person's good. Like I was a bouncer. I would like, even if I wasn't like, at the end of the day, I spent a lot of time in prison. You put a hole in the mop, I'm willing to do something to it. But like on some real shit, like I would literally hit people up, hit females up, like, yo, just hope you got in safe. Cause you don't never know. Like people be spiking people's drinks. Like I done watched Law and Order SVU 1,000 times. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like, and then they be mad drunk. Like it be a lot of shit going on. So like I really hit people up. I always want to see if people's good. Like and if they my people, like I'm definitely hitting you up. Like it might be a Tuesday afternoon and you not even thinking about me at all. And I just text your phone like, yo, I'll just hit you up, making sure you good. Just tapping in. That's it.
Yeah, that's important. We need more people like that, because end of the day, life is short. Death is random, and when people go, you lose a part of yourself, man. It's almost like you never get back. It feels, like my soul's Swiss cheese sometimes, but we make the most of what's left.
And yo, you know what the real, like not the real, but like everything we said is real. That one of the most fucked up parts about like when I really, really started like thinking like that, I caught COVID in prison and almost died of pneumonia. I was like, nah, man, I can't go out like this.
Bro, I think like that every time I choke a little bit on food, bro. It's like, yo, this can't be the end. I swear to God, bro. It's just something, so I'm like, yo, this can't be the end, but like, this can't be the end of my story, something like that, and bro. I feel you, bro. I feel that.
And it's true,
but it's like
the
the
same.
trauma of seeing, like, people die in crazy ways, man. Somebody get run, a friend of mine got run over by a car, like, hit by one car, then run over, just.
My cousin Keon, crazy, I would have never guessed. Bro, one day, like I'm talking to my people, they like, yeah, Keon passed away. I'm like, and I know a couple people with that name, so I knew exactly who they was talking about when they said it. But I'm like, oh yeah, this person. They're like, no. But and the crazy part is when they first said it, I got a little bit of relief. This is the second time this happened to me. My sister's name's Brianna. My dad's name's Leon. I had a girl, my friend, a girlfriend named Brianna, and she passed away. She ended up getting murdered. When I talked to my people, they said Brianna, I thought it was my sister, and then felt relieved that it wasn't my sister, only to feel more fucked up. Like, damn, but it was my friend. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And then it's a very similar situation. I tell you that to tell you, my dad's name's Leon, so when they said Keon, I heard Leon at first, and then she said Keon, I felt a tiny bit relieved, and then I tried to convince myself that it wasn't my cousin, only to find out, like, yeah.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, man.
It's a people tough thing to deal with, man.
And
like
we the same age.
Remorse, survivor's guilt, especially going through so much things.
Oh,
man.
You what?
I had somebody die in front of me at work, man. Literally, dude was right next to me, and my little brother was on the other side. And same thing, though. Like, instantly, I'm like, I'm just glad I don't have to call my mom to say that. Right. But still, that's still sad. You know what I mean? It's almost like that.
It's a double-edged sword, I guess, right? Because it's like,
that's what that kind of remind me of, stuff like that. Even, you know, it's just crazy, but it's just like these traumatic events, and just, like you said, check on your people, man.
Definitely check on your people, man, because you just never know.
Live life, man. Speaking of living life, man, say everything goes according to you know, everything goes the way you want it to go in an ideal situation, right? Even though we know that's not life, right? But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years.
Like, what's your day look like 5 years from now if everything goes the way that you plan it to go?
5 years from now, my day looks like helping managing at least 3 artists. I don't want to do no more than 5. Helping manage 3 other artists' careers. While mine's is already thriving, I'm performing all of the time, because more than a recording artist, and I love recording, I'm a performer. So I'm not just like, this ain't just for, oh, I want to be famous. Like, I don't give a fuck if I ever be famous, as long as you give me the money. You know what I'm saying?
Heard that.
So I'm going to still be performing, because that's what I love to do. I'm gonna be managing other artists, because I know a lot about the industry as far as like the business side is concerned. You know, I'm gonna have numerous businesses that I'm gonna hopefully have assistants to help me run, and I'm gonna be paying at least 4 to 5 people's salary that live in a mansion with me, because we're gonna help pay for it together while living inside of it. Instead of me outsourcing people to have to cook and clean, I'm gonna utilize the people within inside, and we're gonna split the bill.
Absolutely.
So in 5 years, that'll already be happening. I'll also be headlining tours and able to be able to pack up any venue that I go in, because it's a numbers game, right? And I'm already building them up.
For sure, for sure. And if there was, I guess, anything else or some closing words, man, before we got to wrap this up.
The closing words is, man, exactly what we've been saying, man. That ain't no theme for no reason, so we're going to keep it going, man. Check on your people.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if I'm your people, check on me too, man. I'm going to check on you. Check on me too, man.
Sure. And I appreciate you. And you checked on me before too, so I could speak, my man.
Absolutely.
He stands on what he says, stands on principle. He don't just talk it. He's about it. So that's really what it's about, guys. So on that note, it is what it is. Remember, what's next is what you make it. On that note, the Bounce Back Podcast, B. Luke, Day Heat, 43 AD. Check on your people.
Check on your people, man.
You got a moment when they see you down, just know they love it.